Hello, I'm Gary YouTube from Cultaholic Wrestling, once again joined by another Gary YouTube, and we are here to do some more Gary YouTubing, this time in the form of a tier list going through all of Bray Wyatt's gimmicks up until this point in October of 2022. To peel the curtain back, we are sat here on the 18th of October. All we've seen from the new Bray Wyatt is the return at Extreme Rules. Lovely, fantastic. We saw the return promo on SmackDown. Lovely, fantastic. But that's all we've seen, so we don't quite know what we have in terms of the new Bray Wyatt, but we know what we have in terms of the old Bray Wyatt. So let's stick it in a tier and let's watch a fancy intro now. Just in case you haven't been here before, we're going to put these gimmicks into a tier ranging from the best to lovely, 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 to middle of the road, all right, to just about bearable. And you want to avoid that bin, don't you, Jack?
Stay out of the bin.
And you might be surprised to hear we have 7, 8. Who do we appreciate? Bray Wyatt. It's 8, isn't it? 8 gimmicks to go through.
I really thought there'd be fewer than this. He's Wyatt 6, I said to you off camera. He's Wyatt 6. How long did this take? But
it's actually Wyatt 8.
Oh.
He appreciates himself. But yeah, we're not going to do the new Bray Wyatt. Is it 9? Slap my arse.
I think it's 9.
It's 9.
Wow.
Wyatt 9. He's mighty fine. Wow. But we're not going to do the new Bray Wyatt because as we're sat here, we don't know what it is. Is it the mask thing controlling the real life Bray against the gimmicks that you used to have in the past? That's what I think it is personally.
I think so as well.
But we'll find out more in the weeks to come. But we're going all the way back to back in day. Not a specific time, just back in day with Duke Rotundo, a gimmick that Bray Wyatt used in FCW, a 2-time tag team champion with Bo Rotundo, who turns out to be his actual bloody brother called Bo Dallas. And they lost them the first time, those tag team titles, to the tag team of Kalen Croft. Who is he? But Trent Beretta as well.
Oh, yes.
Such a small world, this professional wrestling world.
Really
what do you need to know about Duke Rotundo? You need to know he had lovely, luscious blonde hair, as you can see in the picture there. You need to know that at one point he was part of a detective agency with a guy called Shaft. His mom calls him Shaft, so he believes he's Shaft.
He wasn't. Was he really?
Yeah, I watched the promo just now.
No.
And they appeared to hunt people down and kill him for a period of time. And as you all know, he wore a lovely sort of like thing where his chest was out and all the ladies got to meet Duke in person when they wanted to go and have some bounty huntings done on some other people. So that's all you need to know. He's a bit of a sexual fantasy for ladies around the world. He hunted people down and killed them, and he won tag team gold with his brother.
Just the combination of him being a bounty hunter and his lovely luscious locks. Was he meant to be Dog the Bounty Hunter?
There's the potential there.
Oh.
If Dog the Bounty Hunter had any self-confidence about him, that would be...
Do you not think Dog the Bounty Hunter has self-confidence about him?
Yeah, it was a bit of a sarcastic comment. Why the hell is Owen Mawson here?
Just walked in.
I need that SD card that I put in.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Sorry for that brief interruption, everybody. Owen Mawson is a menace.
That was really rude. Really, really rude.
But that first portion went as good as it could have done, so we're not going to do it again. We're going to roll on. So Duke Rotundo, I don't know where to put him in the tier. Shall we put all right or just about bearable, somewhere around there?
How high up could you place a developmental gimmick, basically?
Exactly, yeah.
How high can that go?
And this was FCW time, so not even NXT time, so not even a serious developmental, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
But at the same time, maybe it did wonders for his character work, which has always been his real strength.
He certainly had, the banter of a professional wrestler who gets it.
Whereas, but then again,
Shaft.
But it's got that ceiling. It's got that glass ceiling that a developmental gimmick I don't think can truly break through. I think all right.
All right
maybe.
or bearable,
Is that too high? Was all right too high?
All right, it's fine. You need to click on that window down there.
No.
What are you doing? Just leave that there, click that window down there. This is a wonderful video today. That one there's open.
This one?
No, man, the Chrome window. What are you doing? There you go. Now click the blonde.
My head's absolutely gone.
There you go. It's in just about... Oh, it's in all right. We're settling with all right for now. We might change that come into the video.
Is the graphic... Is it fine?
No, we're fine.
That's fine.
We're absolutely fine.
Cool. Oh,
wonderful professional outfit here at Cultaholic Wrestling. Editors doing what they want. Jack not knowing how to work the computer. Husky Harris is what Bray Wyatt was maybe most famously known for before being Bray Wyatt.
Do you remember when Liverpool got hammered once in a match? I think it was Joe Gomez or Allison just misplacing passes, and Carragher on commentary goes, he needs to come off. That's how I feel right now.
Do one of them. There's nobody there. He's got to stay on. Season 2 of NXT, the game show, with Cody Rhodes as his pro. Yes. Come forth. He came forth, sorry. Come forth? No, he came forth behind Alex Riley, Michael McGillicuddy, and Caval.
Could we see that that feud emerge, him versus Cody Rhodes.
I thought you meant him against the other three
No,
lads
no,
who came
no,
above
him and Cody, him and
The
Cody.
story is there, as we'll
there.
learn with the next gimmick in the
Sorry,
lineage
right.
as well, because there's a little reference to Cody Rhodes, even though at the time it couldn't have been a reference to Cody Rhodes, but now it is one. There's the whole gimmick of Husky Harris, because I was thinking, yes, we know that the American football coach way back in the day called him the Ferrari tank. The massive big tank with the Ferrari engine,
yeah.
whatever it was. But what else is there to this gimmick? So I watched his introductory promo in NXT. He was a third-generation star. That's what he told us. Blackjack Mulligan and IRS was the lineage there. He was ready to step out of their shadow, and he was, of course, a footballer or American footballer with that army tank and Ferrari engine gimmick sort of thing. But that was it. That was it. None of the challenges on the show did Husky Harris any favours whatsoever. And then, to make things even better for him, when he joined the Nexus after this stint in NXT, the game show, he joined Nexus when no one gave a toss about the Nexus.
Yeah.
He lost. He was supposed to win a match to get in the Nexus, but then lost that match, but then Punk took over and got him the Nexus anyway. His initiation was fantastic, where the entire stable battered him with a belt on the back, on the raw, naked back with the tattoos and whatnot. A fantastic visual. It looked like it really hurt. And then he was written off TV, basically, after a big loss, and then Randy Orton kicked him in the head. This is a loss where he was teaming with Michael McGillicuddy, I think it was, where they unsuccessfully challenged for Santino and Kozlov's tag team titles. What a time that was in wrestling.
Okay.
He went back to NXT after that and feuded with Percy Watson for a bit. A generational feud for the ages, which he eventually won the rubber match of in a lumberjack match. He saw off Percy Watson.
I remember him. For some reason, my biggest memory of Husky Harris, I think, is as part of Punk's group of lads in the 2011 Royal Rumble, protecting him, getting in front. Someone comes out and Punk goes, "Get in front of me now, protect me." And I liked him in that role, but that's the main match I remember him in. Unfortunately, I don't remember this feud with Percy Watson, this generation.
I don't think anyone does, yeah. It's back in the FMW days, so...
It sounds like it was largely bad, but not through any fault of his own. Just that no one cared about the Nexus by now, and he didn't have a chance to get the character stuff in.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but I always felt like dressing him in that attire, known with the standards of the day were for Vince McMahon back then, with all the muscle, it just felt like they were taking the piss a bit with the way he looked as well.
I do think, though, that he's saved from the bin level, because he certainly wasn't the worst Nexus person we've ever seen.
Yeah,
so,
and he managed to hang around.
And he did.
In that world back in 2011 sort of time, which is not no mean feat at all.
I'll go bin. I'm sorry, wow, that's really harsh. I'll go bearable. No, I need to come on. I'll go bearable.
I'll go bearable as well. He wasn't the worst, but he's not the best. Then we move on to Axel Mulligan, who wore a hockey mask because he is scary. And this character in particular, didn't even make it FCW TV. But there is one match on the Ocho machine. If you want to see Axel Mulligan in action, he comes out to Jerry Lynn's theme from the Attitude Era. You know, the whoa, all that stuff. Just with this scary hockey mask. And there's a match against Brodus Clay, who comes out to Alberto Del Rio's theme back then. The match is fine. You can see what sort of a character it is. It's sort of like a typical tortured soul professional wrestler. He's in the corner sort of holding his head because of the voices inside them, I assume. He's taking flat back bunks in the middle of the ring for no reason whatsoever because he likes to punish himself or something. It was fine. A lot of people in the comments back on that video are saying, oh, it's based off Mankind, clearly. But I found a quote from Wyatt himself where he said it was based off of Slipknot.
Oh, right.
Because the mask is Paul's mask from Slipknot, and just the entire sort of feel of the gimmick. Big Paul, Eyeball Paul from Slipknot.
Oh, no, I've heard of Paul, because he was the bassist. Fair enough. Right, yes, okay.
And he wore that mask that Axel Mulligan is wearing there. Again, it didn't make it to TV. It was interesting. And he's also said, Wyatt, this was the sort of genesis of what Bray Wyatt would become as the spooky sort of like tortured thing in the Wyatt family and whatnot. So this is the genesis. The origin story of the age of the eye.
Well, I was going to say quite low down, but now that you've said that last little bit there about how it was the start of something,
I think it's definitely on the same level as Duke Rotundo.
Do you think? Well, it only lasted one. There's only one match out there.
I mean, there might be a couple more matches, but there's just one match on YouTube that I saw.
I can't put it on the same level as Duke Rotundo.
You can't put it on Husky Harris's level either.
Really?
On the same level, but higher up. Surely.
So there.
The respect to Axel Mulligan for sure.
All right, yeah.
Way high. Yeah. And now we're moving through the gears.
Here we go.
Because we're moving on to Wyatt family Bray Wyatt, which made its first appearance is a human boy, Ross, who made his first appearance in FCW of April of 2012.
Wow,
that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
The NXT debut then happened in July the 11th, 2012, where he beat Aiden English in singles action. November, they had a big gap there before November happened, where Harper and Rome were recruited, and the proper Wyatt family began with those vignettes in the house, in the woods, and all that sort of stuff, and they were just amazing. There was many more, like, actually produced, I feel, that actually made it to TV. They're just dotted around on YouTube if you want to go and find them everywhere. They're fantastic, each one of them. Then we had obviously we're going to the main roster now. The big old storyline with the recruiting of Daniel Bryan, then Daniel Bryan turn on the Wyatt family, then the stuff with the Shield, generational again. I'll say that because the two young up and coming factions going at it together. And then we get the wheels start to come off. I guess first with the Shield. How it ended with the Shield,
okay,
and then how it bled into John Cena feud,
right?
Because the John Cena feud should have been won by Wyatt, obviously, but the wheels came off and Cena came out on top because Wabadoo and all that sort of stuff, and that was sort of like the end of the first incarnation of Bray Wyatt and his Wyatt family. And apart from the end, I don't think it could have gone any better. I
was about to say the best, surely.
Yeah.
It's just like you mentioned. That's one of two big Mania matches that Cena should have lost. The other one being Rusev in the tank. But no, you can't argue with it. He was instantly one of the most captivating characters on the main roster when he came up.
It just worked, didn't it? It was different. It was just everything. And those promo packages as well, outside the box, doing on-location shoots and whatnot. Yeah. It wasn't yet descending into what we'll get onto later, where it was just Bray Wyatt appearing in that dark, spooky area backstage saying meaningless bollocks for 5 minutes, and then going, bap, and then just disappearing.
Yeah, no, there was more substance to it. There was a reason. I liked the trio.
Yeah.
Is this before Braun?
Before Braun, yeah.
Yeah, even though I still liked it when it was Braun, but this was still class.
Just that original 3.
Have you heard Tom's impression? He can do a good impression.
No.
Oh, does a great little...
What does it sound like? Go on, do yours.
He talks like... No, I can't. I tried it, I think, on the podcast and sounded more like Bob Dylan.
Oh, fair
I was talking more like this. But Tom can do a really good one, so look out for that. He's been doing it on like every video he's been on. So. Oh, he's really been... He knows it's one of those things where he knows it's good, so he just does it, and then you go, "That's a really good impression." He goes, "Oh, thank you," but you know that he knows it's good. Sorry,
Jack shoots on Tom.
No, I didn't shoot on Tom.
Then we move on to the Eater of Worlds / the new face of fear era. I'm calling this of Bray Wyatt because this is when he lets Harper and Rowan go their own way. That band, I've forgotten that band. You can go your own way. Fleetwood Mac. Forgotten that name. And then this is where Bray gets his first proper singles run on the main roster. He has a little feud with Dean Ambrose heading into 2015, which he eventually comes out on top of in early 2015. Then he lasts 46 minutes in the Rumble of 2015, eliminating 7 people. He got eliminated, as you should say, by the Big Show and Kane.
Right.
Well, they were on their tear and making that match a fun time for everyone watching. Then at Fastlane, he challenges Undertaker to a match at Mania, Taker's first match, of course, since the streak ended at WrestleMania 30. There was the rumours of the foot injury on the night of that WrestleMania itself. Is the match going to happen? It did happen, and of course he lost the first match since the streak ended, which I didn't think was a good look at all.
No, but I remember disagreeing with a lot of people were saying, it got ruined because it was in the daylight, because it was in an open-air stadium.
From just the entrances, I guess.
I thought it looked different. Maybe, excuse me, maybe it would have been better in the nighttime, yeah.
Yeah, and then we move on to stuff with Ryback at Payback, which he won before he got the family back together, and that's where we're going to end that gimmick there, because this is when, as I said earlier, the long rambling, no, it weren't even long, it was just like, they always felt like they were about 2 or 3 minutes, he was just saying like, oh, I'm a spooky boy, I'm going to kill people, and just not really say anything at all of any notice or substance.
That was in this one, or was that the next one?
That was in this one, yeah.
Yes, he changed after this. But, to counter that argument, he was really over. I remember him turning to the crowd at one of those WrestleMania matches, and the whole crowd is singing, he's got the whole world in his hand, they're all doing that, and it was a great moment. But how much does that save him? Because he had started to lose a bit of momentum here.
Yeah, and he lost a bit of that magic as well. He was becoming a bit more magical, if that makes sense himself, doing stuff that normal human beings couldn't do.
And while everyone loves a bit of silliness in wrestling, we saw where it eventually ended up. So yeah, maybe this wasn't a good thing, a good transformation.
I would say it's still at least lovely. But
yes.
I don't think I think the original OG 3 of the Wyatt family was a step higher.
I think he looked really cool at this point as well. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there we go.
Then we move on to the new Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, which I'm going to call this one, which is when Harper goes back with Bray at Battleground 2015. He helps Bray on that night beat Roman Reigns. Rowan then came back later, but that was due to an injury that happened. And this is around the time where we added the black sheep of the group, Braun Strowman, who looks like he weighed about 200 pounds more than he does now. He looks incredible now. Not even he looked incredible back then, but he just looks a lot more leaner now these days, so he does. But this is where Bray Wyatt, it feels like Vince McMahon is starting to give up on Bray Wyatt, because while he's got the Wyatt family around him, obviously being given a huge, not a dip of the cap by Vince McMahon saying, I'm going to entrust you with getting Braun Strowman to a level where he could be a main event guy. It just felt like it was Vince losing faith, because this is where he starts to lose all of his big feuds, the likes of Reigns, and then the Harper and Rowan are losing to the Brothers Destruction. Then we have low-key feuds against the likes of League of Nations and the New Day, where Xavier Woods wasn't a wrestler back then. He was just a manager who was scared of Bray Wyatt.
This is when they were trying to do the Hardys thing,
Yeah.
but without any of the humour.
Yes.
So they just had Woods look a bit scared of them.
Yes.
And then that was it.
Yes.
Okay.
And that takes us through until the Brown split of 2016, where, of course, Bray and Harper go to SmackDown, Strowman goes to Raw, and, Rowan is just somewhere. He's just somewhere. And, of course, as the early days of that Brown split SmackDown in 2016 start to happen, Rowan loses a match to Dean Ambrose, and then they kick him out of the group. They get rid of him.
Yeah. Which felt harsh.
It did feel harsh.
I
Because they're
don't
a
know.
family. You can't get people out of a family, can you?
Rowan also lost to The Rock as well.
This
in
is at
seconds.
WrestleMania 32, yeah. We
Yeah.
were there. I
We
remember
were there.
just shouting, like, why didn't you attack him? It's 3-on-1.
No, The Rock wanted any one of them.
3-on-1
It
before
really
John
felt-
Cena came down.
It really felt like that was a genuine ad-lib. He didn't. It's like The Rock didn't know which one he was going to face.
Yeah.
That was a curious moment.
It was very strange.
But Eric Rowan currently has The Rock's last match in wrestling.
He does.
Yeah, fair enough.
Is Eric Rowan therefore the real tribal chief? Could Eric Rowan come back with Bray Wyatt? There was that thing on last week's SmackDown, as we're sat here, where that mask appeared, where back in the day Wyatt was going to set Rowan free, which is when Rowan debuted with the faction, I think it was, and that same mask, which looks like a goat-sheep hybrid.
Yes.
That was used in the promo on Friday, so could he come back? We don't know. But I'm going to keep this one going with the sort of initial stages on SmackDown, with getting us through to WrestleMania 33, because this is where Randy Orton joins the group in place of Eric Rowan. It was sort of like Bray was trying to get him in for ages, and Randy was like, nah. And it just felt like 1 week he was like, oh yeah, go on then.
There were the seeds of a good story here.
Yeah.
Because I think Randy and Brody Lee played it off really well, or Luke Harper played it off really well, where he clearly didn't trust Randy. Randy was just being all like, oh, I'm your pal now. And it was great. It was a great use of dramatic irony, where the audience knows something that the characters don't.
Yeah.
And you're just waiting for Randy to turn on Bray. But then they kind of handled it all wrong, I think, in the end.
I think it was going fine when they won the SmackDown Tag Team titles with the Freebird rule.
Yeah.
I think we're still on the right track there. Then they lose the gold to American Alpha, and this is where Harper and Orton's relationship sort of becomes frayed. They sort of want to go their extra ways, but Bray's the one in the middle, keeping them together. And this is where we sort of get to the bit where Orton and Wyatt are now feuding. Orton's burning down sheds.
So
He's learned how to use a projector.
it was weird, because Orton, I'll never understand the point of this. Orton won the Rumble.
Yeah.
He won it, and then gave up his title shot to Wyatt.
Who then won the title elimination chamber.
And then Orton turned on him and then got the title shot that he would have had anyway, because he won the
Yeah.
Royal Rumble. So it seemed like an extra step that wasn't necessary.
You remember that very well.
I was furious about it. It was awful. And also, that projector thing at the rest. Again, we were there.
You
and
were there,
it
yeah.
was odd. It didn't go over live or on TV.
No, well, at least you saw it on TV from the bird's eye view camera, but we didn't see it at all when you're in the arena. It's just like a weird light happened, everyone going, oh. Didn't understand what happened there. I've just gone through that.
I remember being really surprised that Wyatt lost as well.
Yes.
Orton had burned his house down.
This is what I mean. Vince was losing faith. Good and proper by this point, wasn't he? And then, of course, after that match at WrestleMania 33, where the wrong man won, Wyatt and Orton go on and feud into the the early summer months, where they had the House of Horrors match, which also was fantastic. And that's where we'll draw the line under the new Wyatt family, if you want.
Oh, I mean, we've mentioned a lot of bad stuff there as well. But
In the good category, let's go for the good bits. Getting the family back together after the singles run, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Strowman, I thought, while he was clearly, fresh and new in the professional wrestling game, he was a good aesthetic to have alongside him, wasn't he? The initial stages on the blue bit of SmackDown, on the brown split of SmackDown with Harper and Bray and Randy. That initial bit was good. Then, as you say, it fell off when Orton gave up his shot. Because there was two of the final three in the Rumble was Wyatt and Orton and Reigns.
Yeah.
Wyatt gets eliminated by Reigns, Orton eliminates Reigns. And then that's where it all fell apart.
I think, but that only, even though it was terrible, it was only like 3 or 4 months long.
Yeah.
So maybe it doesn't damn it that far down the tier list. Maybe I'll put it in all right.
Yeah, top of all right,
All right.
On the same level as Mr. Rotundo. We'll need to bum it up one, don't we? Bum it up one? Jesus. Bang it up one.
This one?
No.
Nah, he was a crucial part.
We can't put the new
Should I
Wyatt
put
family in
him
the
down
same...
here? Okay, there we go. I feel sad about that now.
We then move on to 2017, 2018 times. I'm going to call this version of Bray Wyatt the deleter of worlds. This is where we're really struggling. and it was really clear that Vince McMahon had given up on Bray Wyatt in this gimmick, because this is where we had the feud with Matt Hardy, where, as Jack mentioned earlier, this is where they properly tried to redo the broken universe of Matt Hardy in Impact Wrestling, calling him Woken, doing the matches, the cinematic matches and whatnot. It was meme-worthy, the stuff on the lawnmower thing. Bray Wyatt played his part in that fine. We had the Ultimate Deletion match there, which was fun, and then Wyatt left TV after being pushed into the Lake of Reincarnation. I think he came back at that WrestleMania, didn't he, to help Matt Hardy win the...
was it the pre-show?
The Battle Royal, yeah, on the pre-show.
Wearing his apron.
Yes.
Yes.
And then those two went off and had a tag team run, which everyone still speaks about today. They won the vacant tag team titles at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and then lost them in their first defence to the B Team.
Oh, wow. B Team.
Yep.
Go.
It just dwindled into nothing, and then Bray Wyatt left TV for the remainder of 2018, heading into 2019. Yeah,
that wasn't ideal. This was probably the era of Bray that led to the need for a reinvention, as the Firefly Funhouse and the Fiend and everything that we're going to talk about. So, bearable or even bin?
I'd say bin, mate, because he still looked like Bray Wyatt, who, we'd known at that point for the previous 4 years on the main roster, but he just wasn't anything like him, was he?
Fair enough.
But unless you want to keep it because of the Ultimate Deletion match. Does that keep it out the bin?
No.
Bin. Cat among the pigeons. Firefly Funhouse.
Sorry, I just like to emphasise, because looking at the tier list, it looks like we've been quite harsh here. But I would stress that none of these, I'd blame bad creative decisions over Bray himself, who always gave 110%.
It's just the stuff he was given at times was just either repetitive, meaningless, or what's the other word? Bollocks.
Yeah.
Repetitive, meaningless, or bollocks. Cultaholic wrestling in a nutshell there. And we move on to April 2019, where we see the vignettes with Mercy the Buzzard, but we didn't know it was Mercy the Buzzard. Then it was just a buzzard in a box. Those eerie promos starting to air on Raw. Then, of course, the other puppets would join in with these promos. The weeks went on. Then the episodes of the Firefly Funhouse started, and this is what we're going to talk about here. Not the Fiend, just Firefly Funhouse Bray. As a gimmick by itself, I thought it was fantastic, because straight away I cottoned on to the sort of fact he was a children's TV presenter who wanted to murder the children he was presenting to. I thought it was a fantastic visual and a fantastic juxtaposition for a professional wrestling character. He had 3 matches while on the main roster back then. He defeated The Miz at TLC 2019. I remember that Bray was invading Miz's house, and then we got to the match itself. He was just doing all sorts of horrible things. And we got to the match itself, and The Miz came out dressed in his stupid karate thing and doing all the Miz stuff, which is just didn't fit.
Didn't it start with a lockup? I hope it didn't, but it might have done.
Might have done. It just missed the mark completely there. Then, of course, we had the stuff with the Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman, at 2020's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And then we had the no contest against Randy Orton in December of 2020, which is the match where Orton goes to pin Firefly Funhouse Bray in the ring. The lights go off. The Fiend's sound effects start happening. They come back on, and wouldn't you just know it, because they were able to pre-record back then, he's pinning the Fiend, who then attacks him. Eek.
Crazy.
But I love this gimmick, mate.
Yeah, I did as well. I love the side characters, not just Mercy, but Abby the Witch, Huskus the Pig, Vince McMahon as well.
This is good. You know what?
Yeah, that was really funny.
And I guess we've also got to mention
that he got it past him. I can't believe it was allowed.
We've also got to mention the Firefly Funhouse match in this too, which obviously was absolutely fantastic with the 80s, Muscle Man.
I preferred that to the Boneyard, but I remember in the aftermath, everyone of that WrestleMania, everyone was talking about the Boneyard. I was like, no, it's all about the Firefly.
I preferred it as well.
We had John Cena in the NWO, the heel John Cena.
Yeah, finally. Amazing. And John Cena is still lost in that no man's land.
He never escaped. Triple H has, because he turned up with DX.
Yeah.
So he's fine now.
He's got friends, but John Cena's got none.
Yeah.
That is the remedy to all ice issues.
Yes.
Friends. So Firefly Funhouse Bray, for me, goes straight in the top.
Well, I was going to go Lovely.
Oh! In terms of Wyatt's gimmicks, it's up there with the best.
It's a great gimmick.
I know it didn't reach its potential that it might have done, and of course we'll get to that later on.
Okay.
Rollins, we just got to mention Rollins. We'll mention Rollins later on. He burned it down, didn't he?
Oh, he came in there.
And
just went, eh.
He came in there, which was a no-no, because that should have been just a separate universe.
It's not a part of the backstage, yeah.
Rollins walking in there as if it was just a set backstage and setting on fire and burning it down
he literally burned it down.
While he was the number one babyface. Burning down the thing everyone loved.
So was Orton when he burned his house down.
Yeah, but we'll move on to the Fiend now. Obviously, the wonderful aesthetic and theme, it was fantastic.
Heel.
The debut, yeah, it's like he's here right now. The debut against Finn Balor at SummerSlam 2019.
Unbelievable.
Could not have been any better.
I was watching that in Asper's Casino in Newcastle, and I was hammered drunk, and it was brilliant.
Is that why you thought it was brilliant, because you were hammered?
It was when it cut to Balor, after this huge entrance with the landing and the song, and this amazing new outfit, and then it cuts to Finn Balor just going, what the hell's going on? And it got a big laugh from all the lads in Asper's Casino.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I guess that success of that debut was the downfall of The Fiend, because Vince automatically was just like, my God, this is the most popular thing in wrestling. Everyone's blown away by it. Let's put it in the title picture against our number one babyface, Seth Rollins, straight away. And then, as I said there, he burned down the Firefly Funhouse, a thing everyone loved, and naturally turned himself heel. But also the booking didn't help either man at all, because, of course, we culminated this entire feud with the Hell in a Cell match, where you can use the big hammer, but Jack...
Can't use the
You
normal
can't use the little hammer.
You can't.
In a Hell in a Cell match, which men have nearly died in.
Alvarez's rant. He used the little hammer.
Yeah, just in case you've forgotten.
And X-Fac's reaction on the watch-along.
Yeah.
Oh.
You just don't end a Hell in a Cell match with a DQ.
No.
Even if you do pile a big pile of like metal things on top of someone and try and murder them with a sledgehammer.
I really
it's
enjoyed
fine.
the ref going, no, Seth, this isn't you. You don't do it, Seth.
This is after he's burned down a man's house,
Yeah.
of course. Then we get onto the feud with Orton, which I felt like lasted 3 years. But this is where the repetitive nature of what that gimmick became really hammered us in the face, no
Yeah.
pun intended, because it felt like every single episode of Raw during the pandemic
Vince
ended
became
in
a
the
bit
same
obsessed
way.
with it, didn't he?
Just the Fiend appearing and just attacking someone and then going off the air with that, like...
And then Bliss. Well,
Yeah.
I guess that was after the feed.
Yeah, Bliss obviously came in later on and she got to ride Randy Orton.
Jesus, no. Well,
The way she pinned him.
in a way, yeah, I guess
Saucy,
so, yeah.
saucy. It had fantastic visuals, the bit of this feud with Randy Orton. Of course, the Fiend was set on
Yeah,
fire.
I mean-
Merry Christmas, everybody, in the year 2020.
Yeah.
Just seeing the man get set on fire.
We've also missed the fact that he lost to Goldberg.
I was getting there.
Oh, sorry,
This
sorry,
was like the
sorry,
biggest negative of them
sorry,
all.
sorry.
2 minutes and
I thought we were
59
going in
seconds.
chronological. It's 2
Oh.
minutes 59.
Clean win for Goldberg in Saudi Arabia in 2 minutes 59 seconds. Obviously, Bray at that time was still one of the most popular things in wrestling, one of the biggest stars of the current generation, flattened by Goldberg in 2 minutes and 59 seconds. And on top of that as well, we had the strap match with Daniel Bryan, which was also crap, but that was a strap match and they're always
Yeah,
crap,
yeah,
no matter who's in them. So there we go, a case of what might have been for the Fiend. It's still got to go up there, but Vince well and truly ruined that game.
Well, I was thinking it only lands in all right for me because it had an amazing start, but so much of it will be badly remembered.
I'll tell you what, I'll go with that and see the
Yeah.
comments. Tell us how
Whoa.
wrong we are. You
Whoa.
can burn it down, everybody. Burn it down. So there's a whistle-stop tour through Bray Wyatt's gimmicks up until the current day.
Looks worse than I remember.
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
No, it is the booking that really let him down, the
Yeah, it is,
repetitive nature, doing the same thing again, hot-shotting him into the title picture with The Fiend just because, I guess it was around Halloween time, that Hell in a Cell match, wasn't it?
Yes.
He had spooky masks and whatnot.
Yeah.
He was very popular. It's I would love to have seen Triple H be at the helm when The Fiend first came around.
Oh, I'm excited to see what he does.
What might have been.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think the new gimmick might be. Is it this masked figure with, is it Uncle Howdy's going to be called?
I saw something on
Something
Twitter,
like
yeah,
that
I'm not
that's
sure.
trademarked. Could he be controlling the real life Bray Wyatt and using his former gimmicks when he doesn't want to use the former gimmicks to murder his fellow professional wrestlers? Let us know what you think down there. Let us know how wrong we are in the comments down below. Any closing remarks? Do you want to move anything in there?
No, I was about to say, are we doing the best? But I would just keep them. I would just keep them in the order they are.
I think
The
OG
best.
Bray Wyatt is
Yeah,
still the
yeah,
best, isn't he?
yeah,
He
yeah.
still could come back. We never know, do we? So that's it. The shortest tier list ever. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.